This is a huge map, and Protoss can be very scary in the late game. They get control of it, but there's a lot of different ways to play PvT, and that's why Terrans need to be ready for everything. And our game's actually loaded up now, guys. Let's do this!
ASL 시즌 10 게임 준비 완료. 폴리포이드에서 게임을 시작합니다.
Okay, so both players are sharing the top of the map now. So, yeah, this map is very, very big. Terran can get a fourth base, but you're pretty spread out, and then it's like you're arbiter meat at that point in time. arbiter meat.
Yeah.
They take a big T-bone steak and throw it into the arbiter cage, and the arbiter goes,
It certainly does.
Eats it up. Carriers. First of all, I should say carriers nowadays can be used on any map, but there's maps where it makes a lot more sense to not go carriers. This is one of those maps.
Yeah.
It's very open, and
Bisu's not much of a carrier guy anyways.
No.
You got to be a
like
carrier
Stork.
guy to go carriers. Yeah. And he is... Yeah,
the skill sets are entirely different. It's kind of like if you're meching with Terran against her. It's like mech play is so different from bio.
Yeah.
And if you can do both, that's great, but like...
You generally have a preference, something you're better at, things like that. Now, I don't know what they're going to open with, so I can't say like too much. It looks like a forward gate from Bisu. So just mixing it up with some early Zealots. But we'll have to see what JyJ does as his opener here. Like, if he's going for like a gasless expand, that could be a big problem. If he's not, yeah, based on the placement of this barracks, can't imagine the Zealot really doing much of anything.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised to see Bisu do this on this map just because you're so far away.
Well, that's why it can be good too.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah, it's like if you 2-fact push somebody in like very far distances where they're like, oh, but this isn't good. It's like, yeah, but you're not ready for it. And so you can just die to this. Now, Bisu does this build a lot. I always think of this as Bisu's signature build.
He does do this a lot against Terran.
And it's very strong. You are able to be active in the Terran's face right away. A lot of Terrans want to get the command center up very fast, and you can punish somebody with this. There's actually 2 versions of this. You can do it on 9 if you want. Gateway on 9 where the Zealot gets there even a little bit quicker. And look, Terran is very weak until they get enough mech units out. You know, certain matchups in RTS, one player gets to be the aggressor, the other has to be the defender, and this is a tough one, even at the highest level of play. It's 4 Zealot hits to kill a Marine, or 3 Zealot hits. I'm sorry, 3 Zealot hits. I was going to say, or 2 Zealot hits to kill a Marine with the probe hitting it twice.
Wait, say that again.
2 Zealot hits and 2 probe hits.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So there's, in other words, they're just. And I don't even know how many shots. How many shots does it take from Rain to kill a Zealot? Nobody knows.
70, 80?
Flash doesn't even know that.
No, yes, no. It's never happened.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So he's gunned down the first worker. Now, see this area? The Marines can fit in there and the Zealot can't. That little wedge between the barracks and the supply depot.
Yeah, really beautiful SimCity, but Bisu actually turns around with the Zealot and is getting a huge amount of hits off on these Marines. So that can be a risky move because if Terran's on top of it, wow, really good micro.
Oh!
It can definitely be a risky move, but in this case, I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, remember, these Marines are never going to be healed. It's permanent damage. So even when a Dragoon comes out, it can start to one-shot these Marines, like that one in the back over there. So Protoss also has to be careful doing this to not overextend. Sometimes you overextend and then they have their factory done and they can counter-push you.
Yeah.
The Terran needs to scout and see, is there going to be a second gateway or is it going to be a Nexus right away? And it seems like the modern approach to this, a lot of times, is to just go for a Reaver after the expand.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
You already have Zealots out, you can throw them into the shuttle. And here's what I was talking about. The Dragoon...
Oh, he's spreading his fire. There's a bit of a problem here where he didn't really decide on anything. He didn't bring anything down. Good enough micro that he gets 2 into the bunker, which is enough. But yeah, that was a little bit scary for a moment.
Yeah.
And so Bisu actually throws down a Nexus, and a Vulture slips out. So this is all kind of standard overall. He did enough damage to the Marines. I don't think he needs to worry about a counter push. And so he can just make that Nexus kind of freely off a single gateway.
Yeah.
But I like that JyJ slips out the Vulture, right? Because when you slip out the Vulture, it's like, send your units home.
Yeah, the last thing you want is a Vulture to get in there and get a lot of probe kills.
Yeah.
So I think this game's going to calm down a little bit here. They're both going to expand up here. But it makes sense in this best of one. Bisu doing the build that we've seen him do so many times before. Just a little bit of early control play. If the Terran was too greedy, you really get to punish. And if not, okay, fine, let's go into a normal game. It gives Protoss a lot of options. And even though I don't know if this is the most optimal build to do on this map, it's still fine. Makes more sense for him to do what he does best.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, if Bisu gets into a reasonable position, he should be able to outplay JyJ.
Yeah.
I mean, he is more experienced.
What do you think of this tank coming out?
Yeah, this is very peculiar because he hasn't brought anything else. Like, normally you'll bring some Marines and stuff, but like we saw, right, he has like a red Marine and a green Marine left, so it doesn't really add that much. He's going to poke up. I think he's just trying to figure out what is going on. Like, how many units do we see here, right? He has some mines out, so he can retreat as long as he doesn't overcommit. One of the goons he already knew had some damage on it, so maybe he can pick that off if Bisu's sloppy. But it was just a poke. That's all it is.
So he's going to be going back here. And, yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see him come out like that, but I guess if he does get away, you know, those are mines you can't use later on, but
well,
try to
these
get any
mines
kind of read.
These are like exactly where you want them, basically, right? He's got a Vulture sitting at the regular 4th base. He's got a Vulture, I think that's a Vulture, up at 12 o'clock. Maybe it's a SCV, I'm not 100% sure, but that can watch for drops. Then he's got 3 mines in the path from Bisu's main to his main.
You're right.
And he's putting mines at expansion. So these are, like, exactly where you want them. And, like, for instance, he just lost that mine. Now he knows there's going to be a Nexus here.
Yeah, he can even try to come in here and kill that probe off.
Handsome.
And that's great play. I mean, just slowing down the probe a little bit.
Great trade there.
Yep.
You want to do that every single time. If you can sacrifice a Vulture to kill a probe that's about to make a Nexus, it's good every time.
The Nexus does eventually come down. And from here, what's he going to put down there? Citadel, I think, and probably go into Arbiter tech. You basically just keep making Dragoons and probes, and you tech into Arbiters, get a Forge.
The size of that looks like it might be a Stargate, my friend.
Oh.
He's doing a Stork build.
Oh, wow. Okay, I did not expect this.
Yeah, this I did not expect either. Like, the scans that you saw there from JyJ were very specific. He was scanning just after 7 minutes, which means you're checking for the Citadel.
Yeah.
The Citadel should be going down around that time for the type of game this is looking like it is, but Bisu waited for scans to run out and then put down the Stargate. There's some really high-level timing stuff going on here.
So I also kind of get the carriers in this spot. Terran wants to take the 3rd on that high ground hill. You could kind of hit the main and hit that 3rd base there. And there's a bunch of area that you can have the carriers floating safely over. So I think there's some rationale to this. Now, I got to point out, though, you know, there's always a soft spot when Protoss is teching into carriers, if you know. The problem is you don't know. And
well, yeah, if he figures this out, like, we'll see, because he's going to have more scans very shortly here. And we'll see where he chooses. Okay, he scanned the natural. He saw some Zealots walking, and he scans the carrier tech. This is huge. The fact that he scanned it before carriers started.
Yeah, this is like...
We're going to see him just add a bunch of factories.
Yeah. And on paper, Terran should be able to push the Protoss.
Yes.
You should be able to kill them.
Yeah, every pro-Terran in the world would probably feel good right now.
Yeah. It's totally different if you scan and you see the 3rd and 4th carrier pop out. And you go, oh my God. Then. I should have known.
So Bisu looks like he's looking to see if he can fly in and do something. That's just Zealots in there. It's not a big deal. But if your opponent is out of position, you can get a bit done.
Well, you want to buy time, is the thing. And this is also a funny situation where the Protoss actually probably does want to expand towards the Terran.
Yeah,
probably acquiring 12, because then you're kind of able to attack them and hit the other bases.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm looking at this, and he rescans the carriers, by the way, just to make sure that they're making.
Because some players will cancel that and just throw down gates.
Yeah, they'll just be like, screw it, going gateway, man. Here we go. Because if you make a bunch of Goliaths and they cancel that and just go into mass Dragoon speed Zealot, then they will actually break your army, most likely. So you have to be careful about that. But these goons just kind of slowing everything down at the third base.
So the third base is not going to be taken to that open area over in the front. Instead, it's just going to be down here to the center right at 3 o'clock. And it actually makes a lot of sense here. If you expand over there, carriers can't quite get down there.
Yeah, and just having a third gas, like on 2 gas, you can kind of fight against this build. It's a little bit tough though, because if you lose your tanks, you can't really remake them. On 3 gas, you can build as many Goliaths as you want, as many tanks as you want.
Yeah,
you will absolutely have what you need. It seems like JyJ is going pretty high economy here overall. Like he should have his 2-1 on the way right now.
I thought he was going to attack in a little bit more quickly.
Yeah,
here.
I thought he would actually just explode up to 8 facts and try to roll through them real quick.
Yeah.
Instead, he's taking like a...
He's almost embracing the carrier tech here.
Yeah. It looks like he just wants to set up a very robust 2-1 timing push rather than trying to run him over when he's on 2 carriers. Because Bisu will have 4 carriers before the attack begins.
Now, the next step here in the carrier tech a lot of times is you need to get Psystorm. So he's going to come in here. Now, this isn't going to do much of anything, but I think you just try to take what you can get. If they already know that there's carriers out, and, whatever. We've seen this before where you have the shuttles come in. The interceptors are soaking a lot of the turret shots, and then the shuttle just drops. You kill the turrets. You're trying to do some damage somewhere.
JyJ is really taking his time here. He made a dropship. I like that play really a lot. I was afraid he might be making a science vessel. Science vessels are actually not useful in this situation. They get targeted down first.
Yeah, they die super fast too.
Yeah, and none of their spells actually make a big difference. People are always asking, like, oh, can you EMP the carriers? Generally, you're fighting interceptors, not carriers.
Yeah, I mean,
so
you can EMP them, and that's cool. And I guess if you can get your
not
Goliaths
bad.
under there, that's neat.
It's just not worth the money you're putting into the vessel, really. So that Zealot actually was a bit lucky. It spots this drop, because that drop could have done a ton of damage to the main mineral line.
Right. So we have 4 carriers out. Now, 4 is when you really start to be able to actually take a fight here. But this is a style of play, where you're not trying to get... It's the carriers combined with the ground army.
Yes.
So remember, the tanks are super deadly on the ground, and the Goliaths are super deadly when fighting air units. And so what you try to do... Let's say you snipe each of the tanks with the carriers as the Goliaths come in, then your ground army comes in. Zealots and Dragoons wreck Goliaths.
Yeah.
But tanks wreck everything with splash. I mean, their splash damage is just incredible. So I really like positionally how Bisu's played this. He knows he could be a real nuisance here in the main.
Yeah, there's a lot of turrets. He's flying in with the shuttle. Okay.
Is that one Zealot he dropped out?
It's just Zealots in this shuttle. I mean, the army's coming up, but if Bisu does something like attacks up front with his ground army, I'm going to be really sad for him. I don't think that that's a good move at all right now.
Well, he's looking for something.
Okay,
now
look, he's rotating down. Now, this is the moment.
Yeah,
bringing the carriers down to join, this becomes a very good attack.
Okay, this is a lot of siege tanks, though. Let's see. He's going to go right on top of these tanks.
A lot of the units are in the main base, but he's starting to lose a lot of Dragoons here.
Yeah.
As the units come down, he might want to back up. He's basically lost his entire ground army.
Yeah, I don't know how much he's macroing back at home. One of the things with carriers as well is that it's like mutas where you have to micro them the whole time. You can end up banking up quite a lot of money, and I don't think that attack was handled very well by Bisu. But again, he did kill a decent amount of the tanks. Protoss does have a real engine behind his production where he can keep making more units. But what about this counterattack? I mean, this is +2 attack, +1 armor?
Yeah, I would be very afraid if I was Bisu. He spent a lot of his ground army. He doesn't have anything to stall except a counter. So he's starting to counter, but his ground army cannot hold on against this. He's just...
Is this 4 carriers? Yeah, it's still 4 up here, not 6.
Oh, that's
no,
six
that's
now.
6. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I just worry that this ground army will just pummel all of the rest of his Nexuses here.
Well, he's definitely losing 2 Nexuses.
He's going to lose the probes here as
well. But there's
a
counterattack going on, right? He's bringing his units across the map, but that's a really well-defended area.
Okay, he's going to back up and he's going to try to sandwich this. Bisu really with very good decision-making, I think, considering. Except for when he had that big attack earlier on where he lost his army.
Yeah, he stayed too long. Like, the idea of drawing army up and then attacking with everything because the carriers rotate more quickly, the idea is good. The execution there was certainly off.
Okay.
Okay, now this is the moment. Okay, an EMP goes down on the carriers, but notice how the Goliaths are not really fighting the carriers. Maybe they can take a step forward and do that, though. Well, he picks off most of the tanks here.
The interceptors are beginning to thin out. I think this last tank is not going to be picked off, I guess.
Oh, that's brutal. You really need to kill that tank.
Yeah, he really needs to get that tank. It's just, okay, finally it goes down. Dragoons and Zealots can now take the rest of this fight. There's more Goliaths reinforcing here. Oh, I didn't even realize there were more tanks up there.
And it's kind of funny. You see, like, he EMP'd there, but did it actually do anything? No.
No.
Not yet. Like, maybe it'll still pay off a little bit. They haven't regained all the shields.
Oh, he's going to lose these Dragoons and Zealots again here. Again, I'm a little bit surprised we saw carrier play on this map. You kind of see, you know, when in big open fields, the carriers are not much of a threat. They want to be, you know, perched up over these high ground areas.
Yeah, not super useful in those situations. But look, he's got this kind of area to fight from. He does pick off the Science Vessel. Oh, these Dragoons coming in is not going to really do that much. Like, he's adding a little bit of damage. Like, look at this. He's losing 5 goons to kill. Now, 1 Goliath.
The Goliaths are actually getting picked off here.
Yeah.
And if this is picked off, then the rest of... Oh, hold on. More Goliaths inbound here.
That's really good. Oh, he's going to pick another one off. There are a couple really highly damaged ones there as well.
Yep.
More Dragoons still coming down. Finally
nice
getting some Zealots in there.
Get that other one over there. He's going to need to do one more dive on that. And again, Goliaths cannot fight, even if it's a small number of Dragoons and Zealots. With carriers, I don't think so.
Yeah, it becomes very, very tough.
This game is not over yet.
No.
It was close. Protoss was almost killed off, but if he can get a few more ground units...
Yeah, no, he's still in it. Like, he's still got good supply. Bisu didn't lose his natural Nexus, which I thought for sure he would end up losing there.
Yeah.
So he's in a slightly better position than what I thought he would be in. He's still got a lot of carriers. They haven't, like, they've taken some damage, right? He's got to be careful with them. He doesn't want to lose anymore. He's doing a counter attack right now towards the main base. A lot of times Protoss will fly in, and if the armories are in a bad spot or something, pick those off and try to snowball from there.
Yep. Now there's +3 attack, +2 armor.
Yeah,
now
those
again,
upgrades are insane.
You know, with no vultures here, the ground, it's a weaker ground army against pushes. Oh, this snipe on the Nexus is really good, actually.
Very important moment. But look,
great targeting here on these tanks.
Yeah, he gets 2 of them.
And now it's just Goliaths. Well, once that tank's killed, and it is.
And that's where the goons come back in and really fight well. The Goliaths cannot fight against this type of composition alone. They really, you need a well-balanced army as Terran, and Bisu keeps abusing that. He's doing a great job of it.
Dragoons are just much better against Goliaths. But I worry that right now Bisu is limping through this game economically, and I don't know that, you know, he can actually fight back. He's on 1 Nexus right now, mind you. Terran's on 3 command centers.
Yeah. His natural is getting low, but you're definitely right about that. And look, every time Bisu attacks in, we're seeing the push out here from JyJ. And he's actually going up to the only mining base here. Now, there is a pylon wall, and the carriers are on the other side.
Uh-oh. The carriers might get pinned over here. Oh, maybe not, actually.
They're really damaged at this point. They've been fighting for so long. Look at this. He's going to be able to target some down. They're all going to die, I think, Tasteless. This is not looking super good for Bisu.
Yeah, I mean, he's so close to being killed here. Well, he might be able to get that last tank.
Well, if he gets that, the goons can clean up the Goliaths, that's for sure, but he's losing every carrier.
Oh, man, yeah, there's only 1 carrier left in this game.
Yeah, without the air army, like, Terran's just going to be more cost-efficient on the ground. There's no question.
I don't know, guys. I guess Bisu is not going to advance here.
Well, it doesn't look like it.
Damn. GG. Unbelievable.
Wow. Well done by JyJ. A big victory for him. He's never gotten out of this round before.
Yeah, and to take out a player like Bisu, that's huge.
업그레이드 완료.
Wow. Bisu having a hard time tonight against Terran specifically. I think Leda was actually really, really impressive. This past game, the thing is, he's taking that risk, right? JyJ is scanning at the appropriate times, checking for that tech.
Yep.
And Bisu's just kind of going into carriers on a map where you